And we're live. Welcome to the show, Simmy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Miss?
I'm good. I'm good. I've got a lot to talk to you about today, and just want to say thank you for coming on the show. And it's going to be a lot of stuff to unpack, especially about your journey on styling and fashion, and just all the perks you've got in the industry, and just currently what you're doing now and what you plan to do afterwards. But most of all, just like what tips can you give to people who are thinking about styling as a profession? Yeah.
Yes.
So my first question is, who is Simmy Kanda and what do you do?
Well, I'm a fashion photographer stylist and I work with brands. I work at London Fashion Week for shows. I do some events, working on my own personal projects as well because I'm trying to bring more people of colour in the fashion industry. And yeah, just doing all that sort of stuff.
Amazing. So, what's it been like, on your journey over of the past few years, and how did you get into styling before we jump on all the other topics? Like, what got you into styling in the first place, and why were you like, okay, this is where I want to be?
So basically, story behind styling is when I was in high school, like I got like awarded like the best female fashion guru in like high school. So I was like, okay, this is the start of splitting. I was like, So I was thinking about like what to like apply for at uni. I was like, let's just do like fashion or like something like that. So I applied for it and then I got into fashion photography. So I was like, I've never done photography by the way. So I was like, fashion's like a lot. You could do like art direction, you can do styling, you could do modeling, you could do anything. So I was
Hmm.
like, mix them both together. So like you can learn photography and styling or set design, you can do anything. So
I mean,
um,
you may as well. Like, you just be getting like more traits for yourself, won't you?
yeah, definitely. I feel like it's good to have all the skills in the industry because it just becomes handy. Like when you're looking for stylists or like makeup artists as well, hairstylists, see everything comes together. And I feel like if you work in a team, it's so much easier. Like I think you do shoots as well, don't you? It's like obviously all
Yeah,
my so
definitely. So I would say that for someone like me who's like trying to plan concepts, like I definitely rely on stylists to kind of just bring out the concept and just kind of make it more realistic of what I can and can't do, because like you can be like, right, okay, I can get this outfit or I can't, or maybe you should try this. Okay, that doesn't actually work or that doesn't fit. So it's like you've got that extra eye that I don't most of the time. So
yeah, because
do you,
everyone's got different eye of seeing things as well. Like you, obviously, when we've been doing our shoots, like we've come up with concepts, we've planned it, and we've had like shoot inspirations. Like in this, you want to shoot in a different style, and I want to style in your way of shooting. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like when you're doing shoots like that, you need to have a concept behind it, and that's where stylists help because you can even look at a color palette and be like, yeah, I want to do like a red shoe inspired by like street style or something. Do you know what I
hmm
mean?
That is so good to hear. So obviously, like you've got so many different like assets to you, and we'll like break it down a little bit. So the first question I want to ask is, how do you actually find a person's style, and like what's the first thing you do when you're planning like a person's style? What do you look for? What do you do?
So everyone's got different style. Like there's a loads of styles out there, and like, I feel like everyone's individually different. So you just well, obviously, like it depends who you're working with. You just look at like what they wear and what their like hobbies are as well, because I feel like some hobbies revolve around your style as well. Like, oh, are we explaining this?
I'm just gonna like kind of show some of the highlights of what you're doing while you're talking. So like, yeah, how do you find like, a person's style and like, so you're saying about like their personality, their hobbies, and everything else.
Yeah, like, and obviously, Ramzan, he's a Bangladeshi model. We've worked with him, he's sick. He's obviously a dancer as well and he's an actor. So, finding clothes to fit in, like flow, that so he can move around and comfortably. That's what my main aim for this shoot was for like him to feel comfortable, and that's why we went for oversized tracksuits and so it flows, I guess.
That's such a
Yeah.
good point because like obviously you said like he's a dancer, he needs to make sure like he has like clothes that are very decent enough to like move around in. And what do you think of like in terms of, so you've got like the size requirements and obviously, make sure it's comfortable first, but then what next? Like what do you think of afterwards? So the whole clothing range on this shoot is like so different. Like what did you do when we were like planning this?
So we went shopping before this, didn't we?
Yeah, so there's actually a video of us actually doing this, so we can actually show it.
Yeah.
So just kind of talk me through your like process of like on this shoot. So
So I like Feeler's brand's really hard. Like I feel like it's underrated. Like well, that's my opinion, but everyone needs to like I don't know because that other jacket that we saw was sick as well. That motorsport one.
yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of fill people in on this shoot. So I
Yeah.
reached out to Simmy and I had a concept that I was really inspired by a photographer called Sammy Sawa. And basically it was a lot of like, movement and levitation. And then the one thing I said to you was, okay, I want to capture street style, but with like, sporty brands. And then
Yeah.
you took a direction into finding some of these brands. So like talk about why you chose these.
Oh yeah. So basically, there was a collection for Feeler, and it was to do with sports and stuff. So I was like, "Ooh, this is sick." So let's just grab this whole fit. So we did that, and then we created an edit for this as well. That got featured on Feeler UK's Instagram as well. Come on.
Yeah,
Um,
that was such a good like feeling. I was like, oh my god, feel like acknowledged us? No way.
I know, like, I was legit in Portugal, and Bob was like,
So
"Whoa."
yeah, this is the shoot I was just kind of talking about. So Sammy, you can see it in the video. So I sent Simmy like all of these pictures, and I was like, so one thing I noticed about Sammy was like he was working with really dark color palettes, and I was like, I'm the complete opposite. I love bright colors, and I was like, how can you bring that to life, and what can we get? That kind of gives a bit of a nod, but like we're putting our own twist on it. So you chose like the feeler outfit, which was sick.
It still has the trimming on the trousers as well, so we kind of
Hmm.
linked. So that was sick.
Yeah, and then obviously, like, do you think location plays a big part in it as well?
Yes, this location, right? Me and Iz and Randa, we was just walking. Yeah, we were going to that other location, the rooftop location, weren't we? I think it was.
Yeah, and
So
this is such
on
a off chance find because I gave you a location and I was like, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to be able to shoot there because security is probably going to kick us out. And we found this one, and you found the styling, and just kind of talk to me about like why this works.
right, so we were just walked past this location. I was like, "Yo, that yellow and the stripes on the top matched the jacket." I was like, "Let's just do a shoot here." And then the orange on that post. Listen, this was the perfect location, man. It's like street as well. Like
Yeah.
your style of like shooting as well really works with this location because you like that rough. Do you know what I mean? That rough step.
Yeah, I do love like grittiness in like streetwear, and just I don't like it polished. I love having like lots of imperfections in the photo, and I just like it all like gritty and messy. But I think your styling like brought it out so well, because how lucky was it that we found
In it, look,
like a sunburst color, and like obviously I love color theory. I just don't stop talking about it. But like your eye for finding this when you were like shopping was just crazy.
and, and that location just came to us. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
So you were talking about like Ramzan's like a dancer. So like talk a little bit about like the next outfit you got and
So
like what we were doing with it.
this next outfit, I obviously like black, so I was like, I want to get like a black outfit. So I saw this full fit, this Nike full fit, and I thought, he did. He didn't need to put like the jacket on. He can just like wear it off, like off his shoulders. So we wanted to get this shot. So I thought, perfect. Let's try and get this shot. I was trying so hard to like fold it in so you could see the just
Yeah.
bit, but it was so hard. I think because like of obviously the material and like obviously he's jumping in the air in it. So, but I tried my best. But yeah, that's how we styled this one, and obviously it's comfy for him as well because I knew that he would be doing loads of like jumping around and like
Hmm.
all these like ballerina type poses.
Yeah, definitely. It was knackered after that. So obviously, like to people who are watching, and these are some of the things that may go over like a lot of people's heads. That when I'm shooting,
Yeah,
I didn't really think about like, oh my god, I can't see the text until you pointed out to me. Like, is I need to like go and fold his
yeah,
clothes because the text. I was just thinking like, oh my god, this image looks great. Like I've captured him jumping, and then you were like, yeah, but you can't see the whole like text, and what's the point of like styling if you can't see the main attraction? And we were like, yeah, how are people gonna know this is Nike if we can't even like show the text? So like there was a lot of times you were just kind of going up and like readjusting and just I think how many attempts, like this is not even, I think I had like 20 clips of him just
yeah.
jumping.
Shit. But that's one thing about styling. Like, obviously, if you're working with brands and designers, like that's your main aim for the whole shoot. Even when working with photographers, like I've been on shoots where I've like worked with like Madness Collection or
Hmm.
like other stuff like Valiente. Like, you need to show their brand out because what's the point doing a shoot if you're not showing out their brand? Do you know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
the shoot. So that's why that was the aim for this one. But we tried.
Yeah, well, I think we did good because like when we did get
Yeah,
the money shot, like you could just see it, couldn't you? And you can like any most people can make out that it's Nike.
yeah,
And then with the other ones, it was kind of just like we were just trying to just kind of
recreate.
recreate like a picture, which was more
Yeah,
like high street fashion or like high fashion, like high streetwear fashion. But we kind of like pulled off like a little sporty wear spin off with
yeah.
the bags that we got from like
Yeah. We
Foot
just use them.
Asylum and Foot Locker. Yeah, and
That's
that
what
was impulsive as well. Like we didn't plan for that because we were like, oh, we've got like the outfit, but then I was asking you like where we're gonna get the bags, and then you were just like, we've got the bags.
we got back.
Yeah. So that was so good, but I think this one will always be like my favorite shot of all
So,
time because like I said to you, I was like, man, I just really want like a bright outfit that
yeah.
that is like really, I don't know, like sporty racer. And then you sent me this and I was like, okay, that is the one, that is the one, that is the
And
one.
remember I
uh
sent you online, I was like, we need to find this.
yeah, and it was a full feeler outfit. And when he sent us the shoes, like we were just like, how can we pair it with a good tracksuit? And then like the whole feeler. So like talk a little bit about, because I gave you some terrible recommendations. I was like, yeah, maybe we can have feeler on top and Nike at the bottom, and you're like, no, 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 no.
uh, nah, I don't know to be honest, because like when you're styling streetwear, I feel like there's this whole thing about oh you can't wear like Nike and Fila or like you can't mix brands, like you can't wear like Adidas socks with like Nike Air Forces. Like I don't know, there's this thing like it just doesn't go. I just don't think it doesn't go. Like, but the fact that I wanted to get the full tracksuit is because you know on his trainers he had on his tongue of his trainer he had like a red like little you know because Fila's got
Red
like a
accent.
yeah on it. So I was like, okay, let's just play around with that colour, and then the black and white matched with his trainers as well. So I was like buzzing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this outfit was made for those like shoes for sure. Like it just worked so well.
And that location was fire.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was something like gives it a
Yeah,
bit of contrast because like red is such a bright color and it's like it stands out on like really like light background. So
yeah.
it just worked out. It worked out really well. Like the light was really harsh that day, but like I
And
purposely like put him in the shadow because like you could see like how bright it was and it was just working
yeah,
so well. It took us a
my,
few attempts as well, didn't it?
funny a shot as well. Like how many times you
Hmm.
have to jump.
Well, like eventually, like I've given like Simmy the iPad, so like what the camera is doing is just beaming my recent photos to the iPad, and this is why I love having like either assistants or stylists on the shoot because I've got such a small display to see, and I always think in the back of my head, yes, I've got the shot, and then you'll be like, yeah, is I think you've missed focus. This one's blurry now. I can't. I think like the composition's wrong, or it's like not angled, or it's like tilted. So it just helps like having stylists on a team because
On shoots, you definitely need an assistant or stylist because obviously I do photography as well. It's really hard to see like your images on your camera that you're using, and sometimes people use film, so you can't even see anything. Like film
oh my
photography,
god, yeah.
and you can't even see anything. You're like, oh
They
yeah.
have a lot
So
of balls, like shooting, especially movement. I just think like it's film photography is so much skill required, and I just like love the people who pull it off so well.
yeah.
Um, but
Um,
yeah,
Definitely when having like a stylist on board or an assistant, like it's so good that you had the iPad with you on shoot as well because I could see if your images were focused or not. Like I could see if he's positioned like too left or too not central. So like I think iPad idea was sick. I'm gonna take
yeah.
that. Well,
And honestly, and I think if anyone else is working with like a wireless camera, or you could use a phone or an iPad if you've got the luxury of having either, right? Just definitely work together because it just makes the process so much better. Because like most camera manufacturers, where they cop out is the LCD screen. It's shit, and it just doesn't do as a service. So yeah, for the people just tuning in now, guys, if you have any questions about styling, photography, fashion, or just anything in general, just fire it away in the YouTube comments. We'd love to just like talk about anything that might be on your mind about it all. But yeah, I think you kind of just like broken it down really well for us, like how to think about a person's style,
yeah.
and that was just like really helpful. So, so just to summarize, it's like their personality, their hobbies, their interests, but also how free they are to be able to move, and it's comfort.
Yeah. Because obviously there's everyone's different and like there's different genders out there as well and like sometimes people are not like comfortable in styling the way that they want to, but I feel like once you get out of that comfort zone and you start experimenting, like sometimes me like I can be street one day but then I can be really girly the other day. It's just I think moods as well and emotions really reflect on your style as well. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I love wearing all black, do you know what I mean, but like
Same.
that doesn't make me yeah that doesn't make me like a dark person. I just like the colour of black.
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting. And obviously, like, I'll talk to you a bit more about like mood boarding in a minute.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to think about. So the next leading on to that conversation, like, where do you search for your clothes for models? And obviously, like, I've just like shown people that video of where we're kind of like, I kind of like told you like I'm interested in streetwear. So obviously, like, you know,
Normal
what
shop.
what drove you to these shopping like stores?
They're reliable, they're easy to get, they're online, you can go in store for them as well. So like stores like JD's, Foot Locker, Foot Asylum, for obviously for streetwear, they're just easy to like get the clothes. Like you can look online, you can go in store. And I feel like that's good about all these like big brands because like you know what you're getting because you see it and you see it in
Hmm.
store. If
Here's a
you
question for you actually. Do you think it's better to get your clothes online for a shoot, or do you think it's better to buy it on the day when we shoot, or just not even on the day, like beforehand in store? Like, which is better?
It really depends on your client because I've had shoots where I've had like several models, like 6 models on set. Like obviously they've sent me all the like size and requirements and like the shoe size, but sometimes the different materials in the clothing can be like different on the person. So I feel like when you're on a shoot, I like to meet my models first, or like even a day before, like for like um, a fitting or something. So like just to know on the shoot, you know the clothes will fit. So
Hmm.
that's like a tip I'd give for like photographers or stylists. Like meet your models, like try meet them or like
Get a fitting done.
yeah, like or like an hour before, like just or not an hour before, so like a day before
Yeah, yeah.
fittings with your models because you don't want on the shoot the clothing not fitting and you just have to cancel the whole shoot and re-get everything.
Have you ever been in that situation where it's kind of been like, okay, wrong size, wrong situation, wrong outfits, everything's just like gone bonkers?
Yeah, I have. One model's clothing was too big, but then I like tightened it up with like clips and like safety pins and just tried to like improvise with it. Cause and then I tried to shoot like so if I was doing a back shot, I'd make the like front part like really tight so then like no one could see like what I'm doing from behind.
Yeah, that's so good because like these little life hacks that I wouldn't know what to do as a photographer, and I just panic. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Like
Um,
animation, it's I think it's easier, but like when you're in a studio, like sometimes for stylists, like you want to return your clothes after, so you'd see stylists like putting like loads of like what are they called like what are they called? You know, like stickers, but fixed stickers like underneath the shoes, so like they don't get like dirty.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely.
The stylists have done that, like for
Yeah,
heels,
I know what you mean. Like
on
just.
the heels at the bottom, like a foam thing, so like when you're on set, you don't obviously
Hmm.
dirt with your
Yeah.
you can return your stuff after because stylists like most stylists like return their stuff after the shoot. That's just facts. That's what you do.
Yeah. So one more question, and obviously this is like the biggest like one about stylists, and like when you're choosing your outlets, right, to like buy clothes from, like as a stylist, like what do you say to people about like returns policy? So just tell people about, what is the like the game of styling? Do you buy the clothes, do you keep them, or do you have to just kind of rent them out, or do you buy them and do you return them? Like what's the deal?
Right. So it all depends on the shoot. To be honest, like for this one, obviously we bought the clothes, then we returned them after. But also it depends. Like if you're collaborating with a brand or a designer, like you'll have to like loan the clothes out and then. Or to be honest, I've worked with brands and they've let me keep the clothes after. Like I've worked with NCAT, a recent shoot that I did with NCAT. They sent me some clothes and I styled them and did shoots for them, and then I got to keep them after. So it depends
That is
really.
some nice perks.
Yeah, so you do get your pros and cons of like styling. Like you get to keep some clothes. It depends because people on Instagram, because I swear you hit people on Instagram as well for like upcoming brands or
Hmm.
upcoming designers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I'm in uni, I know like a lot of upcoming designers. So I've done some shoots with like some uni people as well, where I've just borrowed their clothes for shoots, and then like I don't even need to return it because I can just give them it back. Or do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it really depends on what your client is, to be honest. So yeah, that's what I'd say about the returning policy. Like I don't know, I feel like try and return at different places. Oh my god, don't return at the same place.
It's okay.
I don't know. I think they're clocked, don't they? It's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so for like new stylists who are thinking of getting into like the styling biz, either try and find your network links first at either a uni or just like brands you're working with, or just start out with like a reasonable budget and then try and like make your way into having like a smart return policy, like take care of the clothes and then you can return them.
Make sure the stores that you go to you can return because I've had some cases where I couldn't return my shit.
Oh, seriously?
So I've been stuck with fits, but I'm like, fairs, do you know what I mean?
That's
Fairs.
insane. So I'm just gonna quickly just read out some comments. Aman Johal says fire, and Fantasy Rahim says man like Simmy. So you got a lot of support.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember you like hiding labels while we were on the shoot, and I
that was
remember we were taking some pictures, and I was like, oh shit, like there's a label hanging out, and because it was just jumping all the time, and then obviously like you were like smart enough to hide it in the right place, and again like this is where like stylists shine so a lot because like you can't take the labels off if you're some in some cases you can, can't you? But when you're returning, they prefer to have the labels on, don't they?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like just if you take the labels off, it's obviously it'll be even better. But like, just
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned how to like hide the labels and stuff now. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, so I think there's so many clever tricks like that
yeah.
you've learned, and I'm just like, what the hell?
No, but I feel like photographers learn a lot from stylists as well. And like we learn, like I learn from you as well. Do you know what I mean? Like on the shoot, I learn.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. I think on shoots that I've had to just do solo, like definitely like I've learned to like find little neat ways to just hide like tags on like accessories, but I'm not as good with like clothes like you were saying. Like
Oh
if the clothes are too big, I don't know how to tighten it up or I don't know how to make it look like it's just a decent fit.
yeah,
And you
like
know,
sometimes the tags be like near like zip pockets, so that's even better. You can just tuck the label in the zip.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
little stuff like that. Like it just you
Oh,
think
100%.
it's that simple sometimes.
Sweet. So there you go, guys. You got loads of tips of online versus in-store and just return policies and just like be smart about your budget is pretty much like
Yeah, definitely.
when you're buying these clothes and like the return policies because every shop is just different, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, moving on, I just kind of also want to talk about a few other things then. So, as a stylist, you've got to really be aware of like the clothes, the size, the fits, the personality, and all these things. But you've also got to just keep on top of like trends. And I think this is where I could do a lot better on because sometimes I'm like, which magazine am I have to read? Which outlet do I have to watch? The one thing that I'm kind of doing right now is just watching a lot of like PAQ and like Naver when it was still going.
And I love PAQ. I met like when I was at London Fashion, I met Danny, I met Shaq. Who else did I meet? Dex as well. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
waiting for like in the lobby at the fashion shows. Like they're so nice and like their individual style is you could just
Yeah. So, if anyone doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, PAQ is like an amazing fashion show, and it's to do with just styling.
shout out
It's
Neighbour Crew. Come on.
yeah. Well, talking about Naver, they've just recently announced they're shutting down, aren't they? Um, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
He's
but in terms of just like this show, like it's such a good example of like finding great challenges and like tips and tricks on how to find like
like
the
they do
best styling.
$50 or something. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
like I feel like people think that to dress good they need to spend a lot. That you don't need to spend a lot. Like you can go to charity shops and find like steals. Like when I say steals, you can find steals for like so cheap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like, you can do so many different clever ways of trying to make, ordinary clothes look like they're just insane, value. And I think it just all to do with like how you combine it all.
Yeah.
And I think like depending on like the budget you have, you can either go completely overboard or just go completely smart. But I love watching PAQ for trends, but like what's your current favorite trend right now in fashion and like what you always just like looking at and admiring?
Well, for me, where I feel like for styling, it depends what you're inspired by. Like I'm really inspired by like old, like fashion trends. Like even I get most of my
Oh, shout
inspiration.
out Stussy.
I get most of my inspiration from like music videos
hmm
or Hollywood films. Um,
Yeah.
I like I like to pay attention to details a lot. Like even in my photography, like I mainly like just do close up shots because when I'm working with garments and when they've got detail to it, I really like to show that because like
hmm
fabrics are beautiful, man. Like I just have a fucking niche for
Yeah. Well, that's a good point you make out because I'm the opposite. I love just having the widest shot possible. Obviously, then you don't get to see those details that people have worked so hard for, like in creating the styling.
because I've seen fashion photographers like work like on their patterns and like
Mm.
mixing different patterns together. Like I really like inspired by like pretty much a lot of things.
hmm
Um, but yeah, I don't really like to look at the trends. This is why I was like, I don't know how to answer this question because I feel like trends come and go. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just feel like I know what's in trend right now. Like obviously you keep an eye out on like magazines. You look at WSNG, they're really good like fashion website to look for inspiration for like pretty much anything.
hmm
They're like 3 to 4 years ahead of like time. Like they like like they have
So
like
abstract.
yeah. No, on this website they have like trend forecasts and stuff. So like they'll know what will be in trend, like color palettes. They'll know
Oh,
what will be
really? What's the website called?
time. Let me double check. It's like WSGN or the other way
Because that'd be a
around.
good one to show. WSGN.
Wait, let me check.
Trend
No,
forecasts
so,
and analytics. This one?
yeah, yeah. So
Sweet.
basically, you have to obviously you have to pay a lot of money for this site because like as
Yeah.
you can see, it's got everything on it, everything.
So
Um,
this is like a forecast into the future of styling and
yeah. So this is basically like one of my secrets. I'm giving out secrets.
oh, it's out now, guys. Exposed.
So this is the main sites I look at. Like, you can even ring them. So like, I've got a good connection with WSGN, so like I ring them and say
Right.
like, "Oh, this is what I want," because you can set your own screen onto what you want to see. Because sometimes you don't want to see all this beauty stuff, or you don't want to see like winter collections, or like you want to see like what's
Hmm.
late. So you can just
So
ring them and
this is
turn them
like
on.
premium Pinterest, and
Yeah,
everything is just kind of like chosen for like the best, like the best of the best. Is
yeah,
that what it is?
yeah. So like if you want to be ahead of like your fashion game, defos check this out and check out Fashion Roadman on YouTube. Like he talks in depth about like brands, upcoming brands, what's in fashion. He just like give like how do you explain it? He gives a good like representation for brands.
Yeah, just kind of like breaking them down. This is such a helpful site. I had no idea about this at all, but obviously I'm not a
It's
stylist.
every day.
Yeah, but no, I'm learning and this is good. So
So
this is, and they just have so much insight into just what's
yeah,
coming ahead. So you got to pay a subscription for this.
yeah. You have to pay.
Okay. The
But
Netflix of fashion.
yeah, there's this, and there's you can look at magazines as well, like Vogue, Brits magazine. It depends because a lot of
Hmm.
magazines specify and have their own aesthetic. So like, it depends what you like. So
Right.
you
So
might not
the
like think.
so there's a few things obviously like when you're looking out for trends or just inspiration, like as a stylist, you should be like looking at all these different things.
Yeah, and obviously like your own interests as well. Because I feel like if you don't have your special touch, then do you know what I mean? It's not
Hmm.
different to everyone else. And
What
I
do you
like
mean by special touch? I can elaborate on that. Like, so
like
how do you get your special touch in
like with me,
styling?
I really like jewelry and I really like layering. So I tend to like look for stuff like that, or like I like the way like garments flow in shots. So I try
So we've
to
actually got some of your work, and I think I'm just going to quickly show that to people. So Andrew says, "What's good, guys? Thanks so much for joining, Andrew. And again, guys, if you got any questions, just fire it away. It's more about fashion and styling, but honestly, if you're a photographer or just a fashion model watching, like it's so good just to like get
yeah,
any like tips and tricks. So this is the stuff you sent me, and it has like a lot of work in your portfolio, and obviously like you were just talking about garments and styling, and
yeah,
let's talk about any of like those things. So you've got this shoot with Amina
yeah.
Begum, like this one focuses on a lot of like garments and styling.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, Amina approached me on Instagram and she wanted me to do a modest kind of themed shoot. Because obviously she's Muslim and like being modest is something like very important to her. So
Hmm.
I was like, perfect, like Defo's down to help you. And we've got a photographer called Energy something have I got it on here? Yeah, Energy YKJ. He did the shots for us and
Amazing shots. I love the whole like color schemes and just the lighting setup is so good.
thank you. So what I did, so the last image is I got a designer on board as well because I like bringing people into my shoots. Like I don't always want to like just get clothes from brands. I want to bring like
Mm.
up new designers in. So I teamed up with my friend called May, and he's got a brand called Makeup Paris. And I just said, bring whatever you want, and we incorporated that into the shoot as well because I felt like because he creates like what was it? Oh my god, why can't I think today?
Recreate.
He reworks on denim and like
Hmm.
reconstruction. So he created kimonos
Oh,
from
that's
denim.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I
I've
was
never
like,
seen a denim kimono ever. Like I've never seen like it, but
I
like the
was
ones that you're working with here, like it's just insane. Like it just like the
yeah,
whole modest vibe as well. Andrew says, didn't know Simmy was a photographer too. Only known her for smashing the styling on your shoots. Well, you
yeah,
did say like it definitely helps if you can do a lot of different things all at once, isn't it?
yeah. It's good because like obviously as a photographer and a stylist, you see like how you want your shots as well. Like
Hmm.
when I was on this shoot, it was so fun.
Yeah.
I need the shot, bro.
Oh, really? Were you just like a
I
hundred
was
shots
like,
later? Like I still haven't got the shot I want.
and I was like, listen, I need a close up of the gloves, yeah. So
Yeah.
to make sure you do
I
a medium,
think this is such a good idea. Like, you know, the idea is like modest shoots, but like
yeah.
it just looks so extra still. Like I can just see it like being on like a catwalk and like it just on the front of a magazine. Like these look so professional.
This did get published on a magazine called Creators
Yeah.
Magazine. and got featured on BBC Woman's Hour. So I was like,
Oh, that's so good. Like, congrats on
uh,
that. Like,
thank you. And yeah, just yeah, I don't know what else to say.
so we got another question from Bolin Sond, and there's loving the content you're talking about, guys. Would you suggest any pages, groups to join for aspiring creatives? What would you suggest for someone trying to make connections? So obviously you talked about the pages for styling,
Yeah,
um, but in
going.
terms of what would you suggest, Simi, for aspiring creatives? Like how are you networking right now and just keeping connections with people and trying to make new ones?
Well, obviously, we can't really make that much like physical connection with people because we're in lockdown. But go to events and like fashion events. There's well, when we wasn't on lockdown, there was loads of events on like in London that I used to go to,
So
and
these
that's
are
where.
some that I'm just kind of showing now. Can you just talk us through it? Like, how did you get here, and like, how did you make those connections?
Okay, cool. So wait, which one should I talk about? That's my upcoming
So, have you got?
arts and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, should I talk about London Fashion Week? How
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah. Of course you can. Yeah.
So I'm in uni. I'm in my last year. I do fashion photography, and my uni like just forces us that like you need to go to London Fashion Week, like even just to do street style, like just start from there and then build your connections from that. So I did that first year, like got a couple of good contacts from there. Like I went towards the Strand and Truman Brewery, and that's where all like the most of the shows were. But obviously, like from like the first ever fashion show I went to like the beginning of this year, it's all
Mm.
changed. Like now, it's very different on the fashion week because you have to like if you want to get into shows or shoot for shows or like even style for shows or anything,
Yeah.
you have to like have like an agency behind you or a magazine. If you don't have that, you can't get in.
So you're always
But if
shooting for a magazine or like an agency or a brand or something like that.
Yeah, so as soon as I got into my second year of uni, magazines started to contact me, and my uni had like briefs, like mini briefs, so we could submit our work to magazines, and then they'll choose whatever they want. Like it was like a competition kind of thing. So yeah, then they chose whatever shots they wanted to be in the magazines, and that's how we got published. Then from there, I built up on my portfolio, and then some magazines started to shout me out, like Not Taste, Identity magazine. Shout out to them. They're like,
Oh, Identistad. That's awesome.
yeah, so for 2 years, like, I mean, sorry, for two shows, sorry, 2 seasons for London Fashion Week men's and the recent women's one. I shot for Identity magazine, and that's how I got into like most of my shows because like they sent me shows to go to. Or
Yeah.
that's a different. Asiana's different how I got there,
Yeah.
but yeah, for London Fashion Week, that's how you get in.
That's
Um,
amazing. So definitely get like an agency or a magazine or like big connections behind you, and you can. I mean, you even ended up meeting like Danny from PAQ, the girls from Neva, and like Jane. Like, what was it like? Did you get a chance to like
oh,
speak to them or like
I just feel like they're just normal people. Do you know what I mean? They're just like us. Like obviously
Mhm.
they're still on the grind as well. We're still on the grind. We all want to go somewhere, and they're just really nice people. Like everyone I meet, I think I just catch a vibe. Just really nice.
That's so
Um,
cool. Like that you even got to like be that up close with them and just kind of like talk to them. So like your experience at London Fashion Week is one event.
yeah,
Um, and you've also been to like Asiana, which is like a completely different event. And you were just saying like you don't just focus your attention on just one kind of event. You're into like all different kinds of stuff.
yeah,
So like how did you get your way into these other events, and like why go to these other events as well? Because everybody jumps on London Fashion Week. People love,
yeah,
Paris and all these other
yeah.
stuff. But like, what's your like interest with all these other ones?
As I said before, like there's two different main fashion events in Fashion Week. There's obviously like the 180 Strand, and there's like Fashion Scout as well. Fashion Scout's more for like upcoming designers and like universities, like for like people to show their work. So this one I did was backstage with Fashion Scout I was working for. And I just thought, why not just shoot for them as well? So I did some backstage work and I did some catwalk shots as well.
So good. There's so many people there as well. Like, and the outfits are just like so, like you were talking about, like they're so in the future. Like we just wouldn't see them right now. in like the
Yeah,
main like shopping centers and like the shoppings places. Like it just looks so experimental. That's the word I'm looking for.
yeah. I feel like Fashion Scout's really good. Like the designers that they always have is just madness because like you don't see this sort of stuff all the time, and that's why I feel like I was so drawn to it and I enjoyed it. And I've done this for like 2 years now with Fashion Scout.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Fashion Scout, and if you go onto the yeah, so this is the Burberry model ones.
yeah.
So basically, sometimes like on London Fashion Week on the schedule, they won't put their locations down where they're shooting, but when you're working with magazines, you know where the shows are. So
All
I managed,
right.
I managed to shoot these Burberry models like
Hmm.
before they went onto the shows. So it
That's so
was
good.
so like yeah, sometimes like these contacts like they just come in handy. Like, do you know what I mean?
So it's like an egg hunt, but if you got the connections, you can just find the shortcut quite quick.
Yeah, like you just run to the location. Like I've had like times where I've had like 4 shows in a day, and I'm like in different ends in London. I'm just like, bro.
No way. Well, you got
Alright,
to keep yourself on your feet and quite busy, I'm guessing, as a stylist, and you have to make an effort to going to these events, like,
for sure.
because obviously, like, you need to be at the forefront and people to recognize you. And what got you
Yeah.
into like events like Asiana, and what were you doing there?
Because I'm Indian, Punjabi Indian, like
Mm-hmm.
I can, yeah. So I was like, I like to embrace my culture. So I wanted to do some work with Asiana. So they hit me up, and I was like, can I do some shots for you behind the scenes? And like, I did some behind the scene video footage for them as well. And I took over their Instagram live on
Oh,
this.
that's so cool.
Yeah, so I feel like if you love what you do and your clients see that, they will book you. Like I feel like because I'm a very jolly person and like I get along with people a lot. Like I feel like that's my advantage to getting into this sort of stuff because
Got to be
that's
a
how.
people's person.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you're a photographer or a stylist or a model even, if you're gonna be quiet and stuff, people are not gonna really book you, I guess. Because
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
personality, because like if I'm doing a shoot with a model or like you want doing a shoot, you want them to come out their like comfort zone and you want them to
Mm-hmm.
perform best. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Andrew says I had the same experience at London Fashion Week. Knowing someone involved meant we hit up 4 shows, flying all over London,
Yeah.
making sure we made it to each one. So yeah,
So
definite perks
it's
of the job.
great as well. It's just like oh my god.
Hmm. That's so cool. So you've done absolute like bits, going to all these like places, making connections. Is
Vivian West
it?
was lit.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to like meet her or speak to her? Were you just kind of like in her presence while she was just giving you like loads of wisdom and just like what was it?
Listen, this was like one of them last minute ones, right? So I had 3 shows before this, yeah.
Yeah.
3 shows, like, and I was like, shit, I got to go to Grimview Westwood. It was like in Hyde Park or something. I
Hmm.
was walking through Hyde Park for 30 minutes to try and find this place, man. It was so jokes. But then I got there in time, and it was just like in the middle of nowhere, and there was like a building in the middle, and
Yeah.
like the show was there. It was like a presentation show. Sometimes there's like presentation shows, there's catwalk shows, and like
Yeah.
there's some talk. So this one was like the Vivian Westwood played like a movie. One of her clips was shown in this building, and then she had models like scattered around the whole building, and there was like big displays as well. And she was there. I was like, "Fam, she's there!" So
Yeah.
legit, like I was like, I just took my shots and I just went because I was so tired.
Well, you got so much content, and like, I guess what else I want to ask was like, is being a stylist expensive? Like, you're giving me all these amazing like, like journeys you've had, but like, what about the people watching going, okay, I want to be a stylist, but how expensive is it to be a
Yeah,
stylist?
said you need to have pee, guys.
How
Honestly.
much? Like, give me a number or give me like a baseline. Like, to be a stylist, what do you need? Like, do you need a credit card? Do you need money? Do you need to have connections? Or do you need all of those things?
Right, okay, so you need connections, obviously. You need to know people. I feel like if you have a lot of fashion friends, that's really like handy because they create clothes, so you can just shoot their collections for them, and you never know. Like, I know my friend. There's one of my friends called Maria
Hmm.
Esther, and she creates like recreates recyclable labels, and she recreates and makes garments from that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm going to with her soon. So shout out Maria, she's sick.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
if you know people like that, it'll benefit you. But if you're wanting to style from scratch and like if you don't have the connections, then you'll have to obviously source your clothes from like online or like
Yeah.
in store. So it really depends on your concept and your shoot and what
Hmm.
you want to shoot, what
Yeah.
your, do you know what I mean?
Have
So I'd
realistic
say
expectations when you're starting out.
the thing is, also it's about how many outfits you want to do as well. Because like on a shoot, I like try to like make sure I have 3 to 4 outfits
Yeah. Just so you get
per
like
round.
as much variety in there.
Because I don't want to just shoot one outfit and be like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah, we had about
I like,
three like on that shoot that we did, and it's just there's just so much more flavor and enjoyment in the shoot because you don't just get tired of shooting the same thing.
yeah. Then you know also what you wanna,
Hmm.
what's working and what's not working as well on the
Yeah.
shoot. And you look back at the pictures, you'd be like, oh, that didn't work, but this worked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
Adrash says, "Fashion's all about embracing all cultures for real awesome content for sure." Thank you so much, and thanks, Simi. You're doing an awesome job in like balancing like both enjoyments for like Eastern and Western culture. Like you blend it really well, like which is so good to see.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that more in my work, like in my photography work. I'm trying to blend like Eastern and Western cultures together because I feel like if when it's done properly, it's beautiful. Like this is
Yeah,
not,
100%.
and I'm working with like gold. I'm mainly focusing on jewelry, so yeah,
Yeah, well, like you work with it so well, and obviously, like it's so creative. Like you were saying, you like close-up shots a lot, and you like
yeah.
showing the detail off. So definitely keep going on that. And you never know, you might be like working with like, some crazy jewelry brands one day.
Come on, shout out my uncle.
Yeah. So good. So I'm gonna jump onto some more topics, and obviously, like we've done a deep dive into like um the perks of the industry, which is basically what we just said, and
Yeah.
basically like sourcing rare items. I think I'm just gonna quickly touch on that. There was like one image that I asked for, and like it's on your Insta actually, and you just want to talk about like how you source rare items in the industry. So this is like after you've made some connections.
Oh, that okay,
Yeah.
guys. I'm just trying to charge my laptop.
Are you having a moment? Are
Yeah.
you having a moment?
Oh, right now. Okay. Is it the
So
left?
yeah. So,
Oh,
like
okay.
how did you find this, and like what is it all about, and like finding rare items in the industry, like how
Yes.
far do you have to be into the stylist game before you can get those perks?
Obviously building collection and building connections, going to shows, like showing your face as well, and like going to events and that that shot of the leather, yeah, that one. So basically, I shot for One Times One Studio, official. I shot for their show backstage, and I did some catwalk. Oh no, I didn't do a catwalk. They did a presentation show. Sorry. So I shot for them, and then I just we just kept in contact. Do you know what I mean? And then the next time it was the next London Fashion Week, they were like, "Do you want to wear one of our garments for like London Fashion Week?" I was like, "Yeah." So I went to some fittings with them,
Yeah.
um, and I decided, and they gave me like so many options what I wanted to wear. So I think that's the perks for this like industry. Like when you shop with brands and like they become like your family, and like they treat me so well, and I was fortunate
Yeah.
for them to like give me some of their clothes to wear for London Fashion Week and rep and style, and
Yeah.
that got published in Boyfriend magazine with May.
No way. That's so good. I mean, just like flexing hard there, aren't you?
Come on, me.
So good, man. Love it. Love it. So definite perks of the industry, and like you said, you made those connections, and then you were able to like get these like expensive rare items out
That
for like
leather was full vegan leather as well, so I was like,
full vegan leather. You heard it here first, guys.
listen, full vegan leather. Listen, it was so hard to walk in that. I was
Yeah.
sweating hot
Seriously,
a lot. It was the hottest day, and I chose to wear that fit.
that's insane. That is just actually so insane.
I was like, that's special for you, do you know what I'm saying?
That's so mad. So obviously, like moving on then,
Yeah.
um, what do you think? I mean, we've kind of talked about London Fashion Week, but there were some events that you've also been to that I can just kind of show everybody. And like you went to like Paul's Yard as well, didn't you?
That was lit. Listen, pause, I was lit. Yo,
And
that
like,
was mad.
what is like Paul's Yard for people who don't know?
So, Paul's Yard is from a magazine called Paul's Magazine.
Hmm.
Yeah, they do this event one time every year, and they did it last year, and it looked lit. I mean, not last year, like 2 years ago, it looked lit. I was like, next year I need to go. So when they did the second one, oh, that's my friend mate, that's my friend Marvin. He's sick.
Shout
He's a,
out.
he's the artist as well. What a G. And this is stuck, yeah.
There's just so many people here who are like dressed
This,
so extra and like it's just awesome.
he's,
What a vibe.
oh, Luca, man, he's fire. Literally, like the youth. I love the youth.
So what was the point of the show and like why did you go and like why was it useful for a stylist?
Listen, guys, sometimes you just go to shows just to sit, show your face, but I went to this to just have fun. I'm not even lying. I took my camera. I was like, let's just go. I went by myself. I was like, allow it. I'm just gonna go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I take these risks. So I went. It was lit.
It looks so good.
I met so many like influencers here, and like obviously you can talk to them face to face. So like obviously you see all these influencers on Instagram, and like when you
Hmm.
see them in person, you're just like, oh, okay, hello.
So a
So
lot of these people are like huge influencers for people who are watching, and just like there's a good chance of maybe just like even booking a shoot or make connections and things like that.
So obviously, another tip to have if you're a stylist or photographer, bring business cards everywhere you go. Have them
Oh yeah,
everywhere. I would just fly them out everywhere. Me, I
just
was like,
dishing
yes.
them out, just dishing them out.
And they're like,
I need to make
listen,
my
like,
business cards still.
do you need to come when this happens again? Whenever
Yeah.
once we're out, come with me to this
For
event.
sure, for
Like,
sure. It looks so good, and it's just like I would love to just like shoot with a lot of the people that were there. I remember seeing like so many high-profile people that were just like, oh my god.
yeah, honestly, I didn't even know half these people, and I was like, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I created like an events
Mhm.
film on this. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was sick.
So going to events and just making sure you're networking and just putting a lot of effort into showing your face, which is just as important, just like showing your face and just being there. And
Yeah, for
that's just like
sure.
for sure. So I guess just my final question would be like obviously like you said you're really passionate about like making an impact on the Asian fashion community. Like what are you currently doing and like why are you so passionate about this and what are you doing to like bring it to light?
Like,
So like as in
um,
like like what are you doing right now to like lift up the Asian community in fashion?
well, basically, like I feel like you don't really see many like females or like males like Asian like people in the fashion industry. Like even if you do, I feel like sometimes it's like tokenism. Like they just like it on fashion shows or catwalks. Like 2 years ago, and I barely used to see like Asian people there. Only like in Fashion Scout because they're more like diverse, and the designers are like diverse as well. But obviously, there's been a big difference now, and you're seeing more of it.
Hmm.
But I just still feel like it's just the way that they're representing us, or like, do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like my work, I'm trying to work with more like um, ethnic people and ethnic minorities, and like, yeah, so I can just
Well, just touching on
embrace.
your point on tokenism, like I think Ramzan's a good example of how we just kind of just falls into any category so well, and it's just a great example of how anyone can be a model regardless of like your race and your gender and things like that. Like it pulls off so many different like styling so well, and like but you've
Just
also worked on with so many other Asian models yourself,
yeah.
and I just love how you bring them out in such a different light, but then you're also kind of giving them that respect for their culture still as well, aren't you?
So this shoot here is with Raj Ratan. He's a Sikh model, and he's like the first ever Sikh model in the UK. So I was blessed to like do a shoot with him. I've actually made a documentary with him, but I just don't want to release it yet.
It's still in
So basically,
yeah.
yeah, it's independent right now. So
Oh.
the documentary that I made with him is about like why is it important to wear the turban to him? So why is it
Right.
important to wear turbans?
Hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes like in a Sikh culture, like people are scared to wear turbans in this society, but like it means a lot. Like there's a like when people what's it called, cultural appropriation. Like I was trying
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
go for that topic and like try and figure out how can I like create films and like educate people on culture. So I started off with him, and then I worked with Cohen as well. He's a Sikh model.
Hmm.
He's doing big. He's on JQ India. He's on Vogue.
No way,
Um,
seriously.
then on the Lazy Oaf's website as well. Like he's doing bits. He's like my best friend. So
That's
yeah.
so good to hear. Like they're getting the exposure.
Yeah, so obviously before this lockdown, I was supposed to like create my own series. So I was supposed to have episodes with like all these creative people, and I wanted to make like a fashion film based on them and like their stories. Like I had like some Asian poets that I wanted to work with, some Asian artists like Harrison
Hmm.
Mead, other
Right.
people. Don't want to like I can't.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Like as soon as this is all over, I'm going to be working on that. Like working with people in the industry, like even if they're in the sports industry, like
Hmm.
boxers or
Yeah.
people like that. I just want to bring everyone together because that's my whole aim, like bringing everyone together. And I feel like I can use my platform to do that.
Yeah, well, you definitely have, and like I said, you're a good example of someone who balances the two really well. Like, you're getting
Yeah,
involved in like, so many like, say Western influenced events, but you're also going to make the effort to like go to a lot of
yeah,
Asian events and just working on projects, and it's
yeah,
like you're a good example of someone who can do it all, but you're keeping yourself really busy as well at the same time.
for sure. It's good to like have your foot into a few things because you can get booked for a lot of things.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think definitely like there's a huge demand for it on both sides. Like, fashion is not just one thing. There's so many different streams of like people who want different ideas, different concepts, different identities, and it's just like this is
yeah,
just a good example of that. Like, like the modest concept shoot, and then you've got like the Seek shoot, and it's just like, and obviously like the shoot that we did with Ramzan, like
yeah,
it's just so like completely different, and obviously you've got people here as well.
yeah, that's it. I forgot half of the names though because I've worked with so many models. That's one thing.
Is it tiring being a stylist then? So like I'm trying to sell people the pitch
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
and you're like that person who's selling it. So like being a stylist, like is it tiring?
tiring because I've done photography and styling, so like I'm sure you know you probably stay up to like 3, 4 a.m. like editing or something. Like
Yeah,
that's
we're
the
like
like obviously we don't like stylists don't edit or something, but like when going out like to places, like I'm always traveling. Like even if I'm not doing photography, I'm always traveling, like trying to find garments or like just trying to like find undercover like vintage shops or something to like try and get
yeah.
clothes. Like it is very tiring, but that's I feel like that's every industry though. Like everyone has to grind, everyone has to work. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. And I think like we just got to have those realistic expectations that results aren't going to come overnight, and you just like building
So
this portfolio and just like looking at your gram and like all the events you've been to, that you've
yeah,
got to just really like be
get,
energetic and just getting out there.
don't be scared. Like I feel like I'm a very open person, and like I'm not scared to like do anything. Do you know what I mean? I'm not scared to talk to new people. I'm not scared. Like you just have to once you're confident, like you can do anything.
Yeah, 100%. So get used to being in front of a lot of people and just try and like
Yeah,
get your face out there. Well, so
definitely.
much advice there, man. Just thank you so much for coming on the show. And like, if there's any more questions, just before we finish off, there's one more question I want to ask Simi. Just yeah, fire it away in the comment section, guys. Your questions have been awesome. And there was a question that I wanted to ask you, Simi, and that is for people who are currently like thinking about doing fashion or fashion and art direction and fashion photography at uni. Is
Yeah.
it essential to even go to university, and how does it help, or does it help at all,
Okay, right. Okay. So
for being like a
want to go
stylist?
to uni, if you want to go to uni and study fashion, do it. But with my experience, I feel like I've done a lot of the stuff I've done off my own back.
Right.
But the thing is, I've learned on my photography side and like I've learned how to like contact people in the industry through uni. So uni has their pros and their cons, I think. But this is a hard question.
It's a tough one.
But like for me, I feel like yeah, uni's been good for me because I didn't really know anything about photography, videography, anything like that. I didn't know about film photography, didn't know anything like that. I've always had a thing for fashion. Like I've always been like stylish and like I've always that was my thing. Like that's why I entered that course.
Hmm.
But is it worth it? Is it worth that twenty
Yeah,
something?
do you feel like people need, so like obviously those network connections, like you said, if you didn't have them you wouldn't have found your
Yeah,
way into like even the industry and those links. So do you think for someone's picking their course right now, think it's going to be helpful in the future, or can they just do it without it?
I think you can do it if you have connections and your
Mm.
network. But like if you're doing like just fashion design, I feel like you do need to go to uni because like you learn how to do pattern cutting and like you learn all that other stuff as well. Like
Yeah.
so, I don't know if that's answered the question. Yes and no.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it makes life a lot easier if you do go to uni and you can find better shortcuts, you can find more confidence in it. But I guess if you're quite, I don't know, like out there already and you have good connections, it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world if you don't go to uni.
No, no, it's not the end of the world. Like I just say, like just keep like up to date with the fashion and like even if you create your own gowns as well, just keep going. Like never, ever, ever stop and keep following your dreams. Because mate, I shot Jada Smith. That was my dream come true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
So that's what I say. Like my dreams came true, and I'm still trying to grind and
Hmm.
progress higher. So yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for everyone joining. And just one last question, I guess. Obviously we're in this crisis and situation right now.
Yeah.
Has it given you any setbacks on how do you plan to go on forward, and what are you planning to do next after this?
Ooh, I don't know what I'm gonna do next because I've still had to do shoots and stuff at home. So I've had to be my own model, my own stylist, my own photographer, my own art
Just a
director. So
one person band, isn't it? Like that's crazy.
it's been hard, man. It's been hard, but my
Hmm.
final project, I hope like everyone likes it because I've tried so hard. Blood, sweat, and tears been in that, man.
Yeah.
Um, so lockdown has been very hard, but I feel like it's been an eye opener because now I feel like you can contact more people now because people have the time to message you back.
Hmm.
So like um, it has been hard, but I feel like you just got to stay positive and if obviously no one can really create work because you can't really see anything, but there's a lot of things going on, like people doing FaceTime shoots and stuff. I've been seeing it
Yeah,
on
I'm
Vogue
loving
and stuff.
those ones. They're crazy. Yeah, they're so creative.
So like even you can do shows, you can do like shoots like on FaceTime. So the creativity, I think it'll never stop. If you got an idea, you'll just do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll just
Well,
come.
I'm glad you're staying creative at home still and finding ways to like, bounce back straight after this. And I think for everyone else just watching, yeah, don't lose hope because there's so much
Yeah,
you can still do. Like you said, like if subscribe to that website that Simi just
yeah,
gave us before, like that's insane. I had no idea about the website. It's so cool. Just make connections now. Like people got no excuses to like not
you.
reply. Yeah. What else are we doing?
Oh,
Yeah, literally.
stay home, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, thank you so much for joining, guys. It's been a sick episode just having you on, Simi. And is there any final words you want to say to people?
That I love you all and stay positive. Yeah, that's it basically.
And you can follow Simi on her Instagram. Details are on the screen or in the description. And yeah, just looking forward to doing another shoot with you. And we're definitely gonna release a video of our shoot that we've done coming
Yeah.
eventually in the month.
Also,
So
guys,
yeah.
just all appreciate how talented Iz is as well. Like,
Oh, thank you so
I met
much.
Iz like how many years ago? Like 2 years ago, I think. Was it
Hmm.
2 years?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
About you.
Honestly, every time I do a shoot with Iz, like it's all positive vibes. He brings so much energy on shoots as well. So like, shout out to you, Iz, man. You're such a
Oh,
sick guy,
too
man.
kind, man. Thank you so much. And like we're gonna do more shoots in the future, and we are looking for models to collaborate with as well. So we're just like planning stuff and ideas. We're just bouncing ideas all the time. So yeah, the people always looking to create stuff. Just message either of us, and just like we'll just put you on the calendar for whenever this post lockdown ends.
So,
100%.
2021.
Yeah, and we got published in a magazine, and that was just like the best thing ever. So like 100%, like I think
Yeah.
that's one goal I want to do more of, like shoot more for magazines and try and like get more concepts in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
guys, until next time, thank you so much for joining, and see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Uh,
CC on the track, boy.